Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. This is Easter season, and we want to wish all our listeners, all those who participate and contribute to our program, and everybody else, a happy Easter. It's Easter Tuesday. Had a season after the sobering effects of the long Lenten, and then we try to have a new time. You have Easter. Easter Monday, people use that opportunity to go to the beach, to relax, to rest. Easter Monday, or the Monday of the Angels, based upon the Catholic practice. Other Orthodox religion, Christian religion, might call it Renewal Monday or Bright Monday. In Poland, I think they have a practice of throwing water on women on Monday, and on Tuesday they throw water on men. You know, these things happen in little communities, and it helps to perhaps show us that we are all together, and you could have a laugh, and people don't walk around the community as a big dog and dog, and not associating with other peoples in the community. So happy Easter. Sometimes we pay attention to some statements that make in relation to Grenada. George Brizan, I believe, wrote a book and described Grenada as the island of conflict. Mr. Blaze in the 70s used to say it is like milk on fire. And some people alluded that some Americans said it is a false scam. Well, perhaps it is that for those who are deeply involved in politics and doesn't pay attention or don't want to use our history to guide us. In the past, we did not have much examples. But today, we ought not to make the mistakes that we made in the past. History must be used to help you direct the future, so you don't make those mistakes. Whether island of conflict or is like milk on fire or false scam, we need to ask ourselves this question. Why is it necessary for the government to have restorative justice? What do you mean by restorative justice? What does restorative justice mean for the trade union? What does it mean for the private sector? What does restorative justice mean for civic group and organization? What does restorative justice mean for the man on the ground, the man in the street? What does restorative justice mean for them? I always believe these things are important. How do we practicalize restorative justice? In my opinion, restorative justice is basically vengeance. It's political vengeance. Why need restorative justice in Grenada? We experimented with a revolution. It lasts 4.5 years. After 4.5 years, over 3,000 Grenadians was placed in prison without charge, without trial, or an opportunity to defend themselves. 3,000 to 4,000 Grenadians flee to other countries. Trinidad, perhaps, accepted the great majority. England, United States of America, they run because of politics. The revolution supervised over the worst crimes in Grenada after slavery and colonialism. At the end, after 1983, Grenadians did not call for restorative justice. They did not call for political vengeance. They asked for forgiveness, and the Truth and Reconciliation Committee was set up. Some people that are interested in reconciliation the most was the girls who was affected the most. I don't know if you remember the guys who went to prison: Kenny Larson, Kennedy Boudlal, Philip. Most of the people who I had the opportunity to speak into wanted reconciliation. They did not want political vengeance. They did not want restorative justice. Now, why is it a government that in 2023 has a policy of restorative justice? Now, we must ask ourselves this question: what is playing out on the ground is political vengeance and political victimization. And this is as a result of the government policy of restorative justice. The government seems to want to institutionalize political victimization. Some of the agents of the restorative justice are entering political enclaves or meetings of the opposition, their main opponents. And it can be they go there to sell ice cream. They don't go there to pray. They go there for disingenuous reasons, for provocation, to torment and insult the supporters and leaders. So Grenadians are staying silent. And when I say Grenadians, I'm speaking about the main organization, the powerhouse, the intellectuals, the trade union, the private sector, and moderate members of the National Democratic Congress are staying silent. I think you need to go back in history. Remember Ken Mills. When he went here, and Gary had to call on his supporters, leave him alone, leave him alone, leave him alone. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon. Mr. Pierre, let's talk about restorative justice. I want to ask himself a question. What injustice has it done to Greenland? What injustice? Right? When you check out the past government, did the Democratic government put anybody in jail? Did they say, well, that person do not worthy to get a work? That didn't happen. And once you qualify for the job, you get a job. And I remember a lot of the NMP supporters saying that I told the NDC people getting work. What the government is to say, the minister is to say, once you are Ghanaian and you qualify to do a work, not because you are NMP and you qualify to do a work, you get a work. If the NDC person support NDC, qualify to do the work, they get the work. NMP, NDC, other party supporters get work. So when you talk about restorative justice, like if some injustice was done to the NMP, NDC supporters, so you come back and see revenge against who? What was wrong? When you check it, people that was in prison, right? The same free they dig up, right? Them are in prison, about 2,000 Ghanaians, right? So they even say they're seeking justice. But the same part is free that they raise up is them that was supported. So only was seeking justice against that raise up, right? I'm saying again, I want to see Ghanaian people to look. I look at what is going on in the country. You hear people say, "Oh, what that government do?" No other government they did it. In some form, they correct. But the injustice and the victimization that is taking place, it is extreme, right? Because you have a choice to support that. You made a choice to support that man. You made your choice to support that man. But it is not wrong to support that person. But you saying to someone it is wrong to support the person who you choose to support. We want to look at that perspective. That is the injustice. So when we speak about injustice, them committing the most injustice among the greater people. Right?
Yes, scholar, thank you very much. I think we need to pay attention to the government of Grenada policy on restorative justice. My understanding of the political implication of restorative justice as you try to internalize it and practicalize it on the ground, it is vengeance, political vengeance, political victimization. You see, Prime Minister Dick Mitchell is a lawyer, a practicing attorney, a corporate lawyer. One of the main skills of lawyers are the management and use of words. And lawyers have a very good education. They do psychology. They do philosophy. They do history and economics. And they read the law. And they're always referencing situation and cases and judgment from countries, particularly in the Commonwealth. So Dick Mitchell is not Tevin Andrew or Ron or the sister from Guelph, mouth open and word jump out. No. Dick Mitchell is a lawyer. He said, we campaign on a policy of transformation, but it is not science. It is restorative justice. This is a policy position. What did Mitchell mean by restorative justice? If after the collapse of the experiment with the revolution, Grenadians did not ask for restorative justice, they did not ask for vengeance, they seek reconciliation and forgiveness, then why is our country going to this and seeking restorative justice? We cannot plead ignorance here. You see, history is on our side. We had the crisis and situation in the 70s. We had 1 month of strikes and demonstration practically every day. We had the Committee of 22. Although the government won the election, 13 seats. We had all these strikes approaching the independence of Grenada in 1974. I remember when Gary called on the Tonton Makut. Tonton Makut is a word I think come from Haiti. And the revolutionaries and the alliances have made a good job of it in the propaganda they made in the lab. Those gay rights was taunted. They was insulted. Some of the worst statements I heard about people was expressed by the alliance. They was in demonstration every day. They were permitted 1 month demonstration. Then Gary called out his people to demonstrate. The voluntary constabularies for the protection of human rights. Each one bring a friend and tell a friend to bring 3 friends. No women. Gary never bring out women to demonstrate. The alliance was bringing up women and sending trucks to take school in to go on demonstrate. They used children to protect themselves. A lot of people had to run from Grenada. I told you before about the case of castration. I don't speak about the others that I don't have evidence to prove, but there were others. We had the manner in which Tivoli and the neighboring villages and Monktrich and Montrule, they were singled out and taken advantage of. Yet, after the collapse of that revolutionary experiment, Grenadians did not ask for vengeance. They wanted restorative justice. They wanted reconciliation. They wanted to live with their brothers in peace. And by and large, I think it was successful. I saw people who go to jail. Some of the people who arrest them. And gay rights working together, laughing in the bar and having fun. Some of the people who were strongest against the execution of those who was in the revolution and involved, suspected of involved, tried, found guilty and sent to jail, was those who were themselves victims in prison. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Well, yesterday we was keeping opposition leader in Monktrich, but it isn't properly well organized. But no, it's not a problem. He had other places to go, and because that show a message that people, they want to see the leader of the opposition, to hear from him what's going on. So in a nutshell, Mr. Pierre, I want to tell you right now, or whoever listening, the government fail. They fail. It don't make sense. In spite of what we say, in spite of what we do, this present administration failed the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pidgin. And who like it, who don't like it, don't like it. They failed, and it don't make sense, nobody pretending nothing. Some people trying to pretend and, making people believe all things well. They failed to admit to speak to the people, because I called last week on the Prime Minister of this country to give a national address. Give the people hopes. Because it was Kit Mitchell, you are here, they calling us. They want to hear something, Tell the people what's going on so the people go have a little hope. In spite of cost of living high, all things high, but, just give them a little hope so they go kind of rally. Nothing so. So the government failed. In spite of what we want to say, what we want to do, the government failed. Thank you.
Yes, scholar, and you must know that coming from you, the members of the National Democratic Congress are going to just ignore it and say, well, what do you expect NNP to say? So sometimes one have to appeal to the moderate members of the National Democratic Congress to see if they can explain the policy of the NDC. And that is why I'm asking for what does restorative justice means? Because in my opinion, it is political vengeance. And why is it this government is embarking on a policy of vengeance? And I see it playing out. The MIT, they had the agents advocating that you go in the opponent's meeting to see who are the public officers that attend this meeting or functions. You have agents of NDC, of MIT in the opponent's meeting. They don't go to the grocery. They have to.
I hope you had a wonderful evening.
Yes, it was good.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad. And welcome back. Mr. Pierre, I do scholar. I too want to see my opposition leader, the Right Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell. I do want to see. I remember in 2013 when the NDC was there, the people had a hope because we depended on the opposition leader was to take us forward, to chant the way forward. So we know that something better, our tomorrow will be better than today. He was marching. We was depending on him to take the lead. Right now, I find it's very quiet. It's very quiet. I'm not hearing nothing. He needs to come on the radio, talk to us. I know they haven't got 1 year yet. But still, everything is going down. Right now, the people in Green that Carrico and Peter Martin, they're living in darkness. The only thing we have hope for and will guarantee us is the sunshine that God gave us. That's the only thing. Everything else is going downhill. People crying out. You go to the shop, everything high. It's either it's too expensive or it's not in the shop. Nothing at all. We depend on the board here to stuff to us. I want a ripe banana. I can't get it because it isn't in the shop. Because the Prime Minister turned everything upside down. When he came, it's a beautiful country, walking, beautiful country. People was going on and off, going shopping, doing things, going forward. We come now and he turned it upside down to his own way. And that is not right. Everybody knows he's feeling the pinch. Everybody. So something has to happen now. Something must be done. And I'm calling on the Right Honorable Dr. Claudius Mitchell to come and step up now. Step up NMP. We need to go forward. We need to march forward. We're fed up with this stupid, that's old government. Sorry to say that, but the old government, we fed up of him. We're really, really fed up of him right now because he's not doing nothing. The only little things they're pretending they're doing something and they're not doing nothing. You're patching road, you're doing this. Everything they came into government and everything was already there for them just to take us forward. But they're not. I should have. Mr. Pierre, have a nice day.
Yes, caller. And I think sometimes we call on opposition leaders to take action. But sometimes it's good for us to reflect. It's good for us to understand the process because the voice of the government then, the opposition now, was practically explaining to people. Perhaps they didn't do enough, but it was saying to the people, this is the track record of the NDC. So maybe it's a time for Grenadians to sit down and reflect and try to understand. Because in the next couple of years, we might make the same blunder again. The National Democratic Congress initiate a policy of justice. What do they mean by that? And is political vengeance when it is played out on the ground. And I'm seeing it. They are sending the agents in political meeting. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, good afternoon. What's your holiday?
Good. Go right ahead.
Okay, can I ask a question, please?
Go ahead, ask the question.
Okay. Are you a farmer? You work your land, what I do, and other people. You plant whatever you plant. Did the seed or the fig or the cabbage or everything grow one time and them have a seed one time? Did the blogger bear the same times? Or the Tanya bear the same day you plant? Or the yam bear the same day we plant? Mr. Pierre, and when I call a program, no, the reason why I call a program because, you know, I listen to each and every program, and I don't care who on it. And if anybody bash me on your program today, you know, because I doesn't bash nobody. No, I'm saying again. I find in my
You
own.
want me answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will repeat again, and everybody know. I don't care.
I heard your question.
Yeah.
So
I don't care if they say a statement about jamming everybody.
Caller.
Okay, it's okay.
I'm going to
now,
answer your question. Thank you.
The fig, the blogger, the yam, everything, you planting, you plant, you selling, whatever, it did not grow the same day and it did not bear the same day. So, the Millennium Day going on 8, 9 or 10 now. June, whatever will be 1 year. 4 days, this NDC put it are doing very good, Mr. Pierre. So let me don't bash them. As Sunday I was listening to a program. Right, okay. And you have people who is
when you call program, make you statement question last. You're asking question and you want to answer them yourself. And then you go in and complain, people bashing you. You're creating the environment conducive for people to attack you. In this modern day, when you're planting seeds, color, you do a test before to know how viable the seeds are. So if you're planting peas and you have some simple tests to use, wet toilet paper to see the percentage germination. You can invest millions of dollars in seeds that don't good. Color, the National Democratic Congress cut down Belvedere nutmeg to plant banana. All the extension officers said, this is not right, it's not good. They did not hear. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
You see how all the NDC and them is the same kind of people in mentality? For this guy supposed to go back to school, he need to go back to school because all of them is the same thing. You think the same way.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Yes, caller, thank you. You see, the National Democratic Congress cut down Belvedere nutmeg. People, agriculture is shocking. They don't know if it's a dream they get. They cut down Belvedere nutmeg and plant banana. Everybody said this project done good. And they borrow money from the bank for that. So you don't have to wait 9 months or 10 years to see a project or a trajectory. And they're not even providing explanation. I am asking, why is restorative justice? Because restorative justice look and smells like political victimization. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, I'll get coffee. All right, well, let me have a little Caller. This program is 1 hour. I don't make rules. I ask people to be reasonable. You cannot have conversation. Go ahead. Now, we say that, okay, now the people are saying, people have to get themselves occupied too of doing something. Plant a little backyard, plant something, and do something, and they will stop be crying, and they will stop seeing trouble. If we want putting pressure on ourselves, Mr. Pierre, we local people should not be putting pressure because we don't want to work. We don't want to help ourselves. Look, Retamanting, I came from my land right now. Look, Retamanting.
Caller. You come out in the land already?
Yes.
One of the problems we have with farmers, they're not staying long enough in the land.
Yes.
Teachers go in the school from 8 to 4. Construction workers 8 to 4. Police work 12 hours shift. Farmers only run in and run back from land. The
But
first
Mr.
thing,
Pierre, I
Color,
leave
hear me
after
out.
5 this morning.
Color, hear me
After
out.
5, I pick up my nutmeg, a cutlass, a bram, I do everything.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Color. Thank you, Color.
But we had to stop blaming government. Let me do something for ourselves. Plant something and grow something and sell something and teach all your children the right way.
All right, Color, thank you. And that is the attitude of a lot of people in our country. They believe because you have money and you have land, everybody have. But it is not like that. It's not like that. Hello? It's one of the challenges that we have. You know, it's difficult. Yeah. Yes, caller, go right ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So the last caller you just had on the show said that it's we the people that's making life hard for us right now. I would love if that caller could explain a little bit more on that, because I don't remember the people raising taxes on sweet goods and alcoholic beverages. I don't remember the people cutting the allowance from 400 or 450 or 300. Am I missing something? So, but then again, I mean, now that I'm thinking about actively thinking of them, but you have a point. We're the ones that vote. What we vote for is what we get. It is important for us to vote. When we do vote, however, we cannot complain about the results afterwards. So if that's what he was talking about, then I totally agree. If not, I would love for that person to call back and explain themselves.
Caller, this caller has been on radio very regular, complaining about road, truck, everything when the previous government is there. Right now, he doesn't want anybody complain. So he has been grossly inconsistent in his position. And that's one of the challenges we have. This is why some people is advocating to remove the money that was given to the old people. This is why the National Democratic Congress have always been hostile to people in the lower income group. And trust me, I don't even understand why.
Well, I've only been home since 2012, so I'm not sure about the history of the NDC or the NNP. I can talk about what I've seen far up to the point. I am disappointed in one thing with this particular administration, and I think it's a very significant and important thing, and the lack of movement on it is bothering me. One, since the new administration and the claim that they're going to change the law, I've heard nothing publicly from the Minister of Security or anyone else giving clear directives to law enforcement as to what to be done in the interim with people who are caught in possession of cannabis, especially those who have medical reasons for their cannabis. I am thinking it is sensible to, if you're going to change the law to regulation, that in the interim you allow law to relax a bit on people who are caught with cannabis of a certain amount. Let's say half an ounce, 2 ounces, whatever you want to make that number. But the day that the commission was formed to come up with the guidelines, recommendations for cabinet to then put into a bill to legalize cannabis, within that week of the commission being formed, there should be something publicly put out. So the moving public, people, regular citizens, know what the law is, what is going to be, and what is going to be happening in the immediate. None of that has been done. People are still being charged for weed. The other day, the minister was asked, why is it that they're addressing this issue, and he said he doesn't like to see all these young people in front of the courthouse every Monday morning, and then was asked right after that, well, are you addressing recreational cannabis? And he said no, which goes against everything that he just said. So it would be nice at some point if the administration would put a public statement out letting law enforcement know what they should and shouldn't be doing, so that people who get caught up in this unforeseen situation don't have to actually go to court and having a record, and then after this law is passed have to go back and change that. It will go a long way in easing up the public's stress, fear, discomfort, and law enforcement's stress, fear, and discomfort, because there's a lot of law enforcement officers that don't know what's going on. It's a long way with the lack of clarity on this issue. A big thing, and it's a big to go back and figure everybody that was charged to then play their record because they were charged with possession of honor. So that's my big issue with administration as of this point.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Canadians if just it's on the ground and victimization. Video going on. Get in. Yes, welcome.
Hello, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, welcome. Great man.
Hello.
Yes, great man. I'm hearing you.
Hello?
Go right ahead. We're hearing you.
Okay, all right. Now, from my personal viewpoint, restorative justice is an attack on the ordinary people of this country. When Hillary Clinton won the senatorial position in New York, on her victory speech, she said, yesterday we voted as Democrats and Republicans. Today we are all New Yorkers. And I think that type of political message should resonate around every politician who are in power in any part of the world. Yesterday, we voted as NNP and NDC. Today, we are all Unitarians. And therefore, if restorative justice is an attack on the supporters of NNP, then we are going in the wrong direction. We have seen that during the reign of the new National Party, a time like now, when school will be open for the new term, there would have been some jobs offered to people who are in the bushing and other work projects being on, have some income. What is happening now? Because this plan has, they will pay by monthly or twice per month, fortnightly as we would say. That would not increase the economic activities in the country, because it's the same group of people who are getting paid. The net is not wider. We need to create a wider network so more people could be involved in economic activities. Anytime you see cement getting hard in hardware, that means the economy, because construction is a major employer in our country. Carpenters, masons, electricians, truckers, heavy equipment operators, everybody are involved. That industry creates a lot of employment. That is not happening today. The economy is in serious problem. And if you are playing cricket and you have a cover and you drop in catches and you put him in the slips, you're going to drop catch. You put it in long run, you're going to drop there because you cannot. What we are witnessing is that the Ministry of Finance is a hot potato. And the Prime Minister has dropped this ministry and given it to Mr. Cornwall. Because the honeymoon is still over. That money that was left there no longer exists, and economic activities in the country is extremely slow. So Prime Minister Dick Mitchell do not want to look as the fall guy when it comes to the collapse of the economy. It would not change. Changing the minister would not change the state of the economy. We have to widen the economic base so that we can have more people involved in earning money in this country. And I therefore appeal to our people to ensure and to rally along with the new national party to ensure that we bring back benefits to the people of Grenada who are now under restorative justice. Have a good evening.
Thank you, caller. You see, restorative justice is political victimization. The agents of restorative justice are going to the activities of the opposition party to stir up trouble, to cause provocation. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre, you know, for us to take the street because this government is doing nothing in the right way. For us to take the street.
I think we have to
call
educate
the
our
opposition
people.
leader to help us, please.
We need to educate our people. Remember, the National Democratic Congress won election because they created a law. They offer people something on a platter. And people sit and back. We need to educate our people.
Take straight, Mr. Pierre. We can sit down.
Yeah. People need to get information and be educated and be wiser. Be more knowledgeable, we make better decisions. Now, government is policy of political vengeance, is restorative justice in practicality. The agents of this restorative justice are going in political meetings, they're going there to stir up trouble. They must not be permitted to do that. And it happened in Grenada history before, and it seems that we forget. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon. How is this? Good, but I hope you are good.
Great,
Mr.
man.
Pierre,
Yeah, go, yeah.
listen, I had a guy talking about marijuana, this and marijuana that. The man in charge of the marijuana thing, he said that it is illegal. How it is illegal? Doesn't know what I'm talking about. When they pass it, they will say why they go for you. But after now, it is. Mr. Pierre, I hear you talking about that how NDC Kodong nutmeg and do what kind of thing. Mr. Pierre, that is so much years ago, almost 30 years ago, I came to where you
So because it was 30 years ago, it didn't take place?
I don't know if it takes place.
Well, if you don't, it's caller, check the facts. If you don't, caller, you have to prepare to handle truth when you're dealing with me. You have to prepare to handle the truth.
Well, if it's the truth, it's the truth.
Well, you're saying, well, if you don't know, find out.
I don't know if it's the truth or it's not the truth. You are here saying it. Mr. Pierre, listen to me. You talk about the truth and the truth. Mr. Pierre, the NNP government, you know what they do? They spent $40 million in St. Mark on a chicken farm. Up to now, we don't get a penny. I don't know what they're talking about. $30 million, you know. That gone down the drain. You come and talk about something. Mr. Pierre, when you're talking, you must realize the government, the past government, the NAC, NNP.
Caller, what do you understand by restorative justice?
restorative justice.
What do you mean? What does that mean to you?
Well, the Prime Minister today, restorative justice for the slave trade.
What that mean to you?
Justice for the slave trade. You're fighting evil what was done to you. You're fighting justice what was done to you. As what they fighting for the slave trade.
What do you understand by I think it's important for readers to inquire what does Deacon mean by restorative justice, because Mitchell exuberant arranged political meetings for mischief purposes, and I highlight the level of patience and tolerance that are exhibited by the leaders of the opponents, of the opposition. But it brings me back to the 70s, when the same things used to go on, and the opposition made a big thing when Ken Mills was roughed up. You others in meetings of the opposition. They went to the opposition meeting to make trouble. Maurice Bishop went in Simoon and he signed a warrant for the arrest of the Prime Minister. He signed a warrant for the arrest of the Prime Minister, and he gave a deadline. And when that deadline expired and he came in Grenville and he met they call it Bloody Sunday. We must not forget. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre. Forget all these things. They have a new cook in the kitchen now, and you don't have a stove to cook your food. So let it go ahead. The church is empty. They put a new cook, so you have to get a stove for him.
Yes, caller, thank you. So it's a dangerous trend in Grenada. We cannot say we don't know. You cannot have individuals who are known over exuberant agents of restorative justice at MIT attending police. So this meeting so you do not use these unsuspecting individuals. It's wrong. Yes, caller, welcome. You ought not to use these individuals. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre.
Go right ahead.
It was on the 4th of November.
Just a while. Go ahead. I'm not hearing you clearly. Caller.
They came to Grenville not to buy ice cream from Sugar and Stripes, but to start the confusion, and it was met with opposition forces.
You're breaking up a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, your internet is some problem.
Yes, so you'll have to call back next time. You're breaking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That information is very, very important, but I promise I'll have her back maybe in studio with me when we could speak about it. So you see, this going on there is not by chance. For the younger ones in politics, it's right. That a lot of reading was done in line speech, and more same tactics is being tried, and maybe deserve the same treatment. So if the restorative justice agents are entering the NNP meeting, they don't go there to sell ice cream. They ain't go there for peaceful purposes. They go for political mischief. And Deacon Mitchell should put a halter on these individuals. Deacon Mitchell, you are the one responsible. You are the one that instigating these conflicts in this country. You are the one that advocating political vengeance. You are the one that encouraging your ministers to classify Grenadians as good people. Some Grenadians. And this is why the caller before alluded to Hillary Clinton. When she won, she said yesterday, Democrats and Republicans voted. Hey, the people of New York, we represent the people of New York. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr.
Go right ahead.
The minister will borrow the money there. I hope he pay back the money before election come, you know. I hope he pay back this money before election come. Otherwise, he gonna meet the bug up in the prison.
Yes, thank you, caller. So it is important for Grenadians to speak on this issue. They are the ones first that will be jumping up. The trade union movement must find out the TUC what Deacon mean by restorative justice. I believe it is political vengeance. And I am seeing it play out on the ground. Why did you fire these 10 people, 9 or 10, that involve in the management of pests in Saucer? Why did you fire the 30 on Paradise Estate? Why is it the Minister of Social Affairs gave the parliamentary representative that working with her the assurance should employ them? Why these people life is hell, you know. I tell you, one girl tell me she walking on ice. They get rid of 2 of them already. They said 3 on the red line. How do you treat people like that? This is not people working for $10,000. You know. $600 and something is a take-home pay. Why make this mischief for these fellas? Why? Why is it agents of restorative justice going in political activities of the opponents to identify who are the public officers that attend these activities and to stir up trouble? And this is why I remind you what happened in the 70s. It's the same thing that you used to do in the 70s, you know. And then some over-exuberant supporters of Gary start to smash the airs in. That is why we had Bloody Sunday. It was as a result of the deadline provided by Maurice Bishop for the arrest of Eric. So when he came in Grenville, he didn't come to pray. He come for war. And then Bloody Sunday become an event. So why is it Grenadians who like to claim that they're honest and they're morals and all kind of things don't advise Dick Mitchell to put a rein in alter your spokespeople if they believe that because they have some education, they have a big mouth and a long ears, that they qualify to be a hybrid pig, then you need to give them a wire. You have to see in the videos. The Prime Minister, Dick Mitchell, is responsible. You are the ones that instigating that in this country. From 1983 to now, we never had that. So you are the ones that instigating political mischief, political victimization, restorative justice. This sort of hostility, renewed hostility against people in the lower income group, Dick Mitchell, you are the one that is responsible for that. It is sad and unfortunate that the journalists who have access to the leadership of the National Democratic Congress is shying away from them. It's unfortunate that the journalists the NDC recognize is so lost that it is sad that the only strategic export of public policy analysts in Grenada turned dumb. The last time I see him in an interview, I couldn't even see the color of his eyes. It doesn't seem he could raise his head again. These individuals know that should speak on this issue of restorative justice. Why Dick Mitchell? And I ask, who sent this young man, or this middle-aged man, or this old male? Because if you cross 40, you're no longer a youth. Why is it he is advocating a policy of vengeance or restorative justice in our country? Who benefits from that? How do you see the practicality of that in the communities and the villages? We're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity of On Target. And we do hope you discuss the issue of restorative justice and political victimization. Thank you.